is Don Welton. The Frankentrain. The Frankentrain, Don Welton.
I moved to San Diego. I was struggling to find the job that I wanted. And so for a brief 10 weeks, I'd become a people mover. My vehicle was longer than a football field. It could go 55 miles per hour, and I could carry up to 700 people at a time. I was a San Diego trolley operator. I was driving a train, Madam Contest Chair, and my dear passengers, let's go for a ride. First, to become a train operator, you have to complete a 10-week training course. During those 10 weeks, I had many different trainers. Today, I'm going to tell you about 2 of them. The first one I'm going to call Mr. Angry. I remember the day he got into the small cab of my train with me. One of the first things he told me was, "I've been a trainer in over a year." Really? Why is that? "They said I had an anger problem. They could take anger management classes and wouldn't let me train for a year." Wow, yikes. Dear friends, within 15 minutes, this angry man standing next to me in the small cab of my train was literally screaming obscenities at me about every single thing I was doing wrong. You don't learn quicker or even get better when somebody's cursing and screaming at you. After over an hour of this constant torture, I finally said, "Mr. Angry, I don't know if I'm done for the day, but I know I'm done for now. I need a break. Hopefully later on today I'll be ready to drive some more, if that's okay with you. If it's not okay with you, I'm going to get out now. I'm going to take the next train back to the station and not tell them why I came back early." He drove after that. And then I did the last part of the day. When I got back in, though, I told them I would never again, never go out with Mr. Angry again. They asked me what happened. I told them. They apologized. I said, "You know, he did that before. We made him take anger management classes. We thought he was on track." I said, "His train is derailed." My next trainer, I'm going to call him Mr. Crazy. Actually, he was a party compared to Mr. Angry. He was fun, but he was crazy. And he never shut up. Now, he didn't yell at me, but he constantly talked, seriously constantly. I don't believe I've ever met anybody like him before. If he ran out of words to say, he just made noise. And it was really hard to concentrate on driving my train when somebody's talking and making noise all the time. I guess the best comparison I can think of is for you to think back to when you were first learning to drive a car. You know, back before when you still had to stop and think about every single thing you had to do. Now, make that car 320 feet long. Put a few hundred people in your back seat and be cruising down the streets of the 8th largest city in America. And in downtown San Diego, our tracks were right on the roads. We were sharing the roads with the cars, trucks, bikes, buses, homeless people, walkers, joggers, and drunks. Yes, we're riding on rails. No, we cannot move out of the way. During training, they wanted us down to 20 miles per hour as we entered the station. Mr. Crazy liked to go fast, though, all the time. He tells me 50 is fine. So he's got me coming in hot and braking hard. Now understand, trains are not like other vehicles. If you're not on our tracks, we cannot hit you. But it can be alarming if you're standing up right next to that yellow line, the yellow line of safety. If you're standing up right next to that and something as large as my train's coming in at 50 miles per hour. Now picture you're there with your parent and you've got your 2 little children with you. "We're waiting on the train, we're waiting on the train." That, by the way, that sound is our small horn. It's the buzzer horn. We have 2 horns. The bigger horn, well, we have that because we all know there are times when size does matter. And the little horn, I called Buzz. The big horn, I called the fear of God. It was so loud, it was against the law for us to use it if we're in the city, unless absolutely necessary. It was a loud horn. At the end of the night, we were the last train. Now what that means is when we get out to the last stop out in Santee, California, we're turning around and coming back empty. Mr. Crazy got all excited, so I clapped in his hand and said, "Now we made it to the fun time of the night." "What now?" "We gotta go 55 the entire way back." I said, we have a bunch of 15 mile per hour curves, right? He says, it's okay, I've tested every one of them. The train will stay on the tracks at 55. It just gets noisy. Kind of like him. So here we are. It's dark out now. It's the last train of the night. All we have, there are no lights out on the tracks. All we have is a little headlight on the lamp on the front of the train. I'm barreling down the tracks, 55 miles per hour, heading into a 15-mile-per-hour curve. My wheels, they're made of steel. The rails are made of steel. As we head into that curve, my wheels begin to scream as we're going around that corner. Now the noise is only half the story. We run by electricity. We have wires up above the train. As we're going 55 miles per hour through a 15-mile-per-hour curve, we have this pole that's supposed to rub against the wires. But it starts wobbling crazy back and forth. And every time it hits the wire, bam, and sparks are flying. So here we are. We're flying through that curve, 55 miles per hour. The wheels are screaming. The showers are just coming out over the train of the sparks. And the whole time that crazy Mr. Crazy is screaming this lunatic laugh. I'm living in a nightmare and driving the freaking Frankentrain. Miraculously, we make it in. We're safe. I had to smile. I couldn't wipe off my face as I walk in to punch out. I gotta tell you, I just didn't cut it as a train operator. But if I was gonna go back and do one more shift, I said, give me the last train of the night with Mr. Crazy. I'm gonna try the Frankentrain one more time. Madam Countess.